Hello people, welcome to another BLD BeatDown where we take a look back at last night's hell in a cell at Staples Center in LA, featuring lots of blood, lots of gore, lots of scary things going on. And we're going to try and keep this short and sweet and sharp and snappy. So I'm going to shut up. Ninja Boy is going to read out the bouts as they happened, and we can give our quick summary of what went on, and also just have a look back on what we said pre-show and see how predictions got on. Go for it.
So the kickoff match was Neville, Dolph Ziggler and Cesaro versus Rusev, Sheamus and King Barrett.
And King Barrett.
Hello.
And it was the babyfaces who came through, as I believe we both predicted. And the way the fight ended was a super kick from Ziggler took Barrett down. That allowed Cesaro to do the Cesaro swing. And by the time Barrett had finished being thrown through the air, he was a bit tired. And waiting for him was Neville standing on the top rope, unleashed the Red Arrow, down for the win. So a bit of a 3-on-1 towards the end, but pretty much as we expected. Was never going to be a big match in the grander scheme of things, but not a bad one to get the crowd going before the start of Hell in a Cell. And how did Hell in a Cell kick off?
With the John Cena United States Open Challenge.
That was a bit of a surprise, wasn't it? John Cena doing his Open Challenge from the start. Not what you'd expected from a pay-per-view. Certainly, I can't remember the last time I saw John Cena opening a pay-per-view. And what about his opponent? None other than Alberto Del Rio. There'd been some rumours. Oh, sorry. Obviously, we didn't get the fact it was Alberto Del Rio. We did both say that Cena was going to lose, so I guess we get half a point for that. Next up.
Full point.
All right, full point. Let's be generous.
Hell in a Cell match, the first one of the night.
Yep.
Bray Wyatt
Against
Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. Now, this was actually a lot better than I expected. Expected it to be pretty tough. But the introduction of the kendo sticks and the tables and the chairs, it was an awful lot of effort, and it went on for some time. And this is all part of Roman Reigns trying to re-establish his popularity that he held before he got lined up to take part in WrestleMania 31 in the title match. And then all of a sudden, the crowd seemed to turn against him. And it's taken him a long while to get people back on board. And this was part of that process. And I'm sure that he's got bigger and better things to come in 2016. But again, both Mano and Ninja Boyo predicted the correct result. So well done us, and well done Roman Reigns.
So that's 3 points each.
Next up.
Tag
Keep
Team
going.
Championship, New Day versus Dudley Boys.
Yeah, compared to the match that preceded it, this was just pretty much a waste of time, wasn't it? Picture of Xavier Woods doing his unicorn at home, all strapped up, so he couldn't make it, but his trombone did. Three things of note: the Dudley Boys completely messed up a manoeuvre and got a bit of heckling from the crowd.
It was like a backward 3D.
Yeah.
It was like back suplex neckbreaker.
Big E did do quite a decent flying super splash. And then, of course, Kofi was trying to con the referee into convincing him that Bubba Ray had tried to whack him with a trombone and that he should be disqualified. But they won the fight anyway. It was all just seemed a bit pointless, really. Not one for me, and I called it wrong. I said the Dudley Boys, it's the second chance they've got the title. This time they'll take it. They didn't. But Ninja Boy, kudos. Ninja Boy called it right.
I am correct. 4-3 to me.
Right, next up, buddy.
It is Divas Championship.
The Divas Championship. Now, there's a couple of things here. Firstly, how refreshing was Charlotte was going to lose that one, having just started the Divas Revolution. But it was slightly different in that all the other girls weren't there and they were having a go. So it's a kind of thumbs up. And again, we both called it right. So another point each. 5-4 to you.
The next up, it's the WWE World Championship.
And what have we done to deserve that accent? I don't even know what that accent was.
Neither.
I don't know what that was about.
It was random accent.
And to be quite honest, I don't know what the fight was about either. How many times or how often do you see the WWE's main title, its main belt, being hidden away in like third or fourth bout down from the headline bout? I think we all knew Seth Rollins was going to win that one too. This whole thing with Cain It's been a quite protracted scenario.
And it was very short.
Yeah, and the fight itself was, I mean, they couldn't even break the tables properly. Don't know what that was all about either. So,
break the tables.
So to be quite honest, it was pretty much a waste of time and a waste of space. All I can say for it, the only positive thing I can say is, again, we called it right. Next up, buddy.
Is Intercontinental Championship.
Kevin Owens against Ryback. Now, what I liked about this was the fact that Kevin Owens, true to our wishes, just kept his run going. A little bit of a sneaky poke in the eye at the end to help him with the victory.
What? Yeah.
But to be honest, it didn't live up to the same standard that Kevin Owens has set himself with his previous fights for the WWE. Now he's got this championship belt. I hope they just don't make it where he's going to do little naughty tricks at the end of every single fight to win. Because he's better than that. We've seen that in his scraps with John Cena. So he can do better, and he knows he can do better, and the crowd knows he can do better. And the fight, again, didn't last all that long, and it did feel a bit sort of incidental. Ninja Boy.
I have a confession to make. I just wound on about 5 minutes from the start of the match, and it was over. And I was like, where's it gone?
He's watching the highlights, and even he was winding on through it. So I think that shows it wasn't really an attention grabber, was it? But it was the right result, and it was another point for us in our predictions.
So that's 7-6 to me.
Bringing us on to...
the main event.
The main event.
The
Undertaker against Brock Lesnar. Now, what a fight this was. For those people who say that WWE, there's no real skill involved and there's no real heart and there's no real passion involved, you only needed to tune into this fight 2 minutes in to see Brock Lesnar bleeding profusely from a gash to his head, which he sustained when Taker threw him into a ring post when they were outside of the ring. And then Lesnar ripped his gloves off and he was pummeling Taker on the top of the head, which opened up a gash on Taker as well. So, as I say, a couple of minutes in, more blood everywhere.
And actually, they both got it from trying to protect themselves with their hands.
Yeah. And then there was more destruction going on in the ring. A chair came. This time it was Lesnar who profited. Now,
and it was a bare fist. Imagine getting low blow to bare fist.
No, thank you very much. Now, as it happened at the end, the crowd seemed to think that was Taker saying goodbye. There's a lot of "Thank you, Taker" being chanted from the 17,500 packed inside the Staples Centre.
But there was some proof there.
But apart from the fact there'd been adverts for the Survivor Series being shown throughout the evening, which all included Taker. Then the Wyatt family appeared. Now, okay, I get it. They wanted to try and build up the fact there's going to be a feud between Taker and his mates and the Wyatt family, and that will very probably play out at Survivor Series. But did he really need to get beaten up again, having already been through World War III with the Beast?
Yes,
I mean, let's face it, his war wounds spoke for themselves, and he's over 50 now. He's getting old. He's old like me. Don't need that sort of action. So it was disappointing because the heart has always wanted Taker. The head said Lesnar, and on this one, I was right, and Ninja Boy was wrong. But what does that mean? Points-wise? What does that mean? Points-wise, it means we're level. But what about the actual overall event? I know some of you seemed a bit disappointed. Some of you thought it was too predictable. For me, I'd say the best points were, one, John Cena having to face Alberto Del Rio. That was quite a well-kept secret. And it's going to be interesting to see. Del Rio, didn't he look ripped compared to how he used to look? He's definitely kept himself in trim, doing Lucha Underground, all the type of things that he's been doing. He's certainly looking trim and ready for action. So it'll be interesting to see where we go with him. Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt was a lot better than I expected. And then, well, again, the Divas match and Lesnar v Taker. Maybe I just enjoy the sight of blood. I don't know, but
2 comments from JBL. One, I expected it to be brutal, but not this brutal.
Yeah.
And that was like 2 minutes in, and 1 minute in, he was like, I didn't expect both men to be bleeding this quickly.
I mean, the funny thing there, of course, was the WWE doctor had to keep popping into the ring to see how they were getting on.
And eventually...
And very soon was popping out again after Lesnar got rid of him. But yeah, I thought overall, there've been worse events this season, this year. So it wasn't
Even
a bad
before
one.
round.
Well, I wasn't saying it's not a great one. It's not a fantastically memorable one, but there were moments in it.
Like WrestleMania 31.
There were moments in it that will that will last. So not a bad one. I'd just say sort of slightly thumbs up for that one. Sort of caught between a big thumbs
An
up.
8 out of 10, 7 out of 10.
I'd say sort of 7.5 out of 10 from me. What do you reckon?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Well, that's still not a bad average, is it, from the BLD boys? Anyway, that's it for BLD Beatdown and our review of Hell in a Cell. We'll obviously be back in November when it is Survivor Series, so we'll be doing a preview and review. And what I should have mentioned at the start, and I didn't, and what I have mentioned on Twitter, and which I'm now going to mention, I have, of course, done a much fuller, much more wordy review of the whole night for Yahoo Sports.
Yahoo!
And you can see the link for that down below this video. It's a long read, it's about 750 words, so I'm sorry about that. I started to waffle, but then I had been up all night, so you get a bit carried away. So if you'd like to read that, that's down below. And to find out when our next videos are coming out, please do follow us on Twitter, @BadLadDad, and you can find all you need to find tucked in there. Till then, stay cool.